Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Mid-South Wrestling. I'm Jim Ross, along with Joel Watts. We'll be describing the action, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see here today on Mid-South. Thanks very much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Joe, Matchmaker Grizzly Smith, has done it again as I look at this tremendous lineup. Some of the biggest stars in wrestling and some key confrontations right here today.
No doubt about it, Jim. We'll see Hacksaw Butch Reed in action today. We'll see Bruiser Bob Sweetan, El Casario. Also a great big Mid-South Wrestling main event for the North American heavyweight title right here on Mid-South Wrestling. Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch will defend his title against Dr. Death Steve Williams, and we've also got some great tag team action for you, don't we?
We sure do, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see Dirty Dutch Mantell and Superstar Bill Dundee teaming here today. Also, you'll see Humongous and the Barbarian against newcomers Steve Constance and Tim Ashley. Humperdinck's awesome team making their second appearance in Mid-South Wrestling here today. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off the great tag team match featuring the Mid-South Tag Team Champions. It's going to be a great hour. Thanks again for being with us, and let's go to the ring and Boyd Pierce.
This event, one fall or a 10-minute time limit, a tag team match. In the red corner, from parts unknown, the Nightmare. And his team partner from Orlando, Florida, Jerry Gray. And across the ring, the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Al Perez and Wildcat Wendell Cooley.
Tag team action, ladies and gentlemen. Here on Mid-South Wrestling, Tommy Gilbert, the official for this match, is assigned by Matchmaker Grizzly Smith. Mid-South Tag Team Champions in the ring, going against Jerry Gray and an unmasked Nightmare. Our first appearance, Joel, to see him without his mask.
Of course, 2 weeks ago, right here on Mid-South Wrestling, Jake the Snake Roberts unmasked him in a match that had several complications. But I don't think, without the mask, I don't think it changes his wrestling style one single bit. There's Jerry Gray with a hip toss on Wendell Cooley. Cooley back up quickly, and he reverses it in kind. Whoa, a couple of high hip tosses. Gray really feeling the sting of the canvas there. From one half of the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Wendell Cooley. Gray with the tag into the Nightmare.
With or without the mask, Joel, he's a big, powerful man, around 280 pounds. There's the tag, so it's going to be Al Perez and the Nightmare. Our first battle here today on Mid-South Wrestling. I'm Jim Ross, along with Joel Watt. We certainly appreciate you being with us.
I noticed over there in the corner. Whoa, Perez with that big right cross. He sends the Nightmare staggering. Nightmare fired a shot into the midsection there. Both men coming off the ropes. Perez, Cooley. Oh, beautiful drop kick. Beautiful drop kick. Did you see the way Perez set that up? That was so smooth and quick. I noticed that Cooley and Perez were over there talking during a brief interlude. They're apparently discussing some of their strategy. Perez looked as if he had something in mind for the Nightmare, and apparently it worked out quite well. These two men seeming to get it together in their tag team strategy and cooperation. Of course, they were great to begin with, and that's why they're the Mid-South Tag Team Champions. They put down the one-man gang and Kareem Mohammed in a match recently that astounded everyone. It was a fantastic victory for these two young competitors. There, Cooley with the arm bar on the Nightmare. Nightmare up to a base and a hard forearm. Cooley's going to have to keep his distance from this big man. Beautiful touch.
Cooley high in the air. Oh, my goodness. Cooley, that was definitely a high-risk maneuver. Boy, he came right down over the top turnbuckle. Joe, he could be severely hurt right now. The Nightmare not wasting any time.
He most certainly could, Jim. He really took a severe blow from that top turnbuckle. And Cooley is in deep trouble right now. This could be a big predicament. Look at how vicious. The Nightmare has always been vicious and calculating. You can see the meanness and viciousness in his face without that mask. Gray continuing to choke, using the foot. But you see, he's still got Cooley in his half of the ring.
That was a karate thrust to the throat. Jerry Gray taking some liberties with Wendell Cooley. Cooley has really taken a setback from that blow he took to the top turnbuckle, and the tag team champions going to have to really get it together here.
Perez on the outside of the ring, cheering his partner on. Cooley has been in big trouble ever since he took that blow from the top turnbuckle. Cooley fighting back now. Jerry Gray is a highly improved wrestler. He certainly knows how to kick it in gear when the momentum is in his favor. And right now he's exhibiting great tag team strategy with the Nightmare in keeping Wendell Cooley in their half of the ring. The Nightmare back in. He will obviously try to add to the punishment of Wendell Cooley, and there he goes for a power slam, but no! He uses that top rope.
The Nightmare is certainly one strong individual. He's just taking it to Wendell Cooley. As I said once before, Cooley has not got back on track since that tremendous blow he took to the top turnbuckle. And Al Perez pacing very nervously on his side of the ring. Now he's ready to get in the ring.
I'll tell you something about Wendell Cooley, though. He has really surprised me in a lot of situations. He has shown so much heart and so much fire when he's in a predicament. It's tough to put the man's shoulders down. Cooley with that rear chin lock.
He's a tough cowboy from San Antonio, Texas. Great condition, as is his partner, Al Perez, but Cooley needs to make the tag. He's getting close.
Gray back up with those hard forearms across the neck, and now he's using blatant right crosses to the forehead. Tommy Gilbert engaged with the Nightmare, trying to put him out. Gilbert breaks that chokehold there. Back to that rear chin lock. Jerry Gray controlling the head of Wendell Cooley and thus controlling the body. Al Perez really reaching for that tag.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have two other great tag team matches coming your way as Wendell Cooley's reaching down. He's reaching down and coming right back with Jerry Gray. He pulled the tights. He had the official out of position, which they get so adept at, Joel.
Cooley has got such a great fighting heart. I honestly believe he would have extricated himself from that rear chin lock had Jerry Gray not used the tights. Cooley slowly fighting back up to the base. Fighting and fighting with that top wrist lock. Extremely painful hold. They're back to their feet, but Gray is in a strategic position once again because he's got Cooley in his half of the ring, and the Nightmare is back in to do some more damage. Nightmare with a hard arm whip. Oh, Cooley with a kick, and this could be it. This could be the break he needed. He got his distance from the Nightmare. He got the distance, and he managed to make the impact, and yes, he gets the tag. He gets the tag, and now Al Perez is in. Jerry Gray keeping his distance from him. Perez connects with a forearm, a hard right cross, and brother, he can hurt you with those right crosses. He comes off the ropes, and a hard forearm. Down goes Gray. Down goes Gray. The Nightmare goes for a right cross. What a suplex! Belly to back suplex, but Jerry Gray.
Well, Jerry Gray's the legal man in the ring. I saw the tag, and Wendell Cooley's in there now. We've got all four of these men in the ring. The Nightmare's going for the pile driver.
What teamwork! Double drop kick. Jerry Gray gets elevated way into the lights. He goes to the lights, and Cooley and Perez have got the momentum in their favor now. Bulldog headlock.
Wildcat Wendell Cooley with a Bulldog headlock. 1, 2, and 3. And the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Al Perez and Wendell Wildcat Cooley, victorious here on Mid-South Wrestling, and we'll be back with Hacksaw Butch Reed right after this.
This event, one fall or 10-minute time limit. In the red corner at 227 pounds, Paul Brown. And across the ring, the Mid-South Television Champion from Kansas City, Hacksaw Butch Reed. Your referee, Carl Fergie.
Boy, Joel, Butch Reed looks to be in superb condition. what a phenomenal athlete our television champion is. And there's a bell that signifies action. Paul Brown against a world-class athlete, Hacksaw Butch Reed, and he is definitely, Joel, on the title trail.
He most certainly is, Joe. Last week, some startling developments. An announcement from Ric Flair. Whoa, look at that forearm. Announcement from Ric Flair that, in essence, he said that he would only take on the North American champion for that World's Heavyweight title here in the Mid-South. Reed, the TV champion, definitely considered a top contender. But it looks as if that North American title is the only thing that's standing between he and the World Championship. And a lot of people feel that he should be the World's Heavyweight champion after his match with Nature Boy Ric Flair. There they go to the ropes. Reed still on the armbar and twist. And brother, there's not many people that can pull out of an armbar and twist when he's got those big guns wrapped around you, I guarantee you.
Well, I agree with that wholeheartedly. He is a fascinating athlete, no doubt about it. And he really took Ric Flair to the limits. As Paul Brown now trying to come back on Hacksaw Butch Reed.
High elevation. Reed up to the second rope now. Oh! What a clothesline. Reed clotheslined him, and that should be it, but Reed is saying it's not over. Reed has got a point to prove, I think.
Gorilla Slam. Look at him hold him. Look at him hold him. Hacksaw Butch Reed and the Gorilla Slam, and Paul Brown down 1, 2, and 3. There you see a tremendous athlete, the television champion, Hacksaw Butch Reed. And we'll be back with Humongous and the Barbarian in tag team action after this for the Mid-South Network.
Tag team match, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the red corner.
Wait a minute. The team that's going to make everybody in Mid-South sit back and take a good look. The team of the Barbarian and the one and only Humongous.
And across the ring, the duo in the blue corner, the team of Steve Constance and Tim Ashley. Your referee, Tommy Gilbert.
Well, Constance and Ashley, the bell. They've attacked him before the match. The referee has called for the bell, and we're going to sound it. So these two big men are opening up on Constance and Ashley.
Jim, this has got to be the strongest team in professional wrestling today. No question about it. And they are completely annihilating Constance and Ashley, a pair of men that are extremely powerful themselves, but they're up against so much brute strength, and look at that! My goodness!
These men are big, and they are awesome, and Humperdinck has them under his control. No more devastating team in wrestling, and you're seeing them now. And they're throwing bodies all over the Irish Renelle Boys Club.
Humongous is down near the steel railing with Tim Constance, but you hear the roar of the crowd. And Jake the Snake Roberts has entered the ring. He has entered the scene, and he has really put the punishment to the Barbarian. He goes for the arm whip. Reversal. Oh! Jake the Snake catches him with that knee. Clothesline. The fans are on their feet, Jim.
We've got people standing, and Jake the Snake Roberts now. It's going to be 2-on-1. And Jake the Snake Roberts, the Barbarian and Humongous both on this man.
Oh, that face mask, he hit him right in the kidney, and now with a headbutt with that face mask. Out goes Carl Fergie over the top rope. Humongous is so powerful. Now it's Barbarian and Humongous, and once again Jake the Snake Roberts is at the mercy of both of these men. And they are so brutal. Humperdinck urging them on.
They're trying to put Jake Roberts out permanently. They've lacerated him. Referee Tommy Gilbert, they manhandle referees and wrestlers. This crowd is standing. Jake Roberts is in severe trouble. His career is on the line right here.
brutalizing Jake Roberts. They have really opened a severe laceration on Roberts' head. We have got to get some order restored to this situation. Humongous continuing to brutalize Jake the Snake Roberts with that face mask. You hear the roar of the crowd. You hear the roar of the crowd, and Jake the Snake has got some help. He has got some help in the form of Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and he's got a steel chair. He has got a steel chair.
Hacksaw Duggan standing them off. Hacksaw Duggan has brought the furniture in the ring. And Jake Roberts is in deep trouble, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll be back. We'll get some order restored here, and we'll be back right after this.
This event one fall with a time limit of 10 minutes. In the red corner, Bruiser Bob Sweetan. And across the ring from West Jefferson, Alabama, in the blue corner, Ken Glover. Your referee, Carl Fergie.
One fall, 10-minute time limit. Bruiser Bob Sweetan and Ken Glover. As we sound the bell, Bruiser Bob Sweetan, 285 pounds from Round Rock, Texas. And Joel, no doubt about this statement I'm about to make, he is as tough as they come.
Most certainly, Jim. He is a tough, brutal competitor. Very vicious, very calculating. And he can turn it on and really put the pain to you when he wants to. I'll tell you, this crowd is still buzzing over what we just saw. The Humongous and the Barbarian attacking. Whoa! Attacking Jake the Snake Roberts. I'll tell you, Jim, I think Jake the Snake with the DDT has got a chance against either one of them in single competition, but against both of them, I don't believe there's anybody in wrestling that can stand their ground against the two of them. I know there are a few people that are considering helping Jake the Snake in this situation.
Very few people, Joel, not saying anything disrespectful to Jake Roberts, would want to get in the ring with the Barbarian Humongous.
Most certainly not. Jake the Snake is extremely courageous.
Bruiser Bob Sweetan, ladies and gentlemen, former Brass Knucks champion, and I must say at this time, in all the years that the Brass Knucks title was in effect, two men come to my mind as the toughest Brass Knucks champion. First and foremost, the big cowboy, Cowboy Bill Watts, Brass Knucks champion, but Bruiser Bob Sweetan, in my mind, ranks right up there as one of the toughest men ever to hold the Brass Knucks championship. He has really been manhandling Ken Glover here on Mid-South Wrestling. Don't forget, coming up, North American title on the line as Ken Glover's trying to mount an attack on Bruiser Bob Sweetan.
He got a little momentum with those forearms, but Bruiser Bob Sweetan quickly turns the tide back in his favor with a hard kick off those ropes. He sets him up and fires him off. Whoa!
He buried that right hand deep into the midsection of Ken Glover, and Bruiser Bob Sweetan going the ropes. Sweetan with that knee right across the chest, 285 pounds. That should be all for Ken Glover. Carl Fergie counts three, and ladies and gentlemen, when we return, it'll be Dick Murdoch defending the North American title against Dr. Death right after this.
This bout, one fall or television time remaining for the North American Heavyweight Championship. Introducing first in the red corner, the challenger from Oklahoma University, Dr. Death, Steve Williams. And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, in the blue corner.
Hey, I just want to say something. I'm here to take on the winner of this match, and that's all I got to say. Butch,
If that's all you got to say, get on out of here and sit down.
And across the ring, the North American heavyweight title holder from Waxahachie, Texas, Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch. Your referee, Tommy Gilbert.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the North American title on the line here in our television main event here on Mid-South Wrestling. I'm Jim Ross, along with Joel Watts. Once again, thanks very much for being with us. It's going to be Steve Dr. Death Williams challenging Dick Murdoch for the North American title. Hacksaw Butch Reed, you heard him. He made a challenge to the winner. Butch Reed will be taking a seat outside the ring, and Bruiser Bob Sweetan is also an interested observer. Tag team partner of Dr. Death, Steve Williams. North American title on the line, one fall or television time remaining here on Mid-South.
Dr. Death in quick with a beautiful fireman's carry. He takes Murdoch down to the mat. This should be a classic confrontation. Murdoch with the edge of experience. Dr. Death, whoa! Nice fireman's carry on the part of Dick Murdoch as well.
Of course, Dick Murdoch, 272 pounds from Waxahachie, Texas. A proud Texan. I know he's a loyal follower of the Texas Longhorn football team. Of course, Dr. Death Steve Williams played football at the University of Oklahoma. I think enough said in that situation. It is a battle of the Red River. And the stakes are even more higher than that, of course, for the North American title line. Dr. Death reversing out with a modified fireman's carry, barring the arm of Dick Murdoch.
Murdoch up to his feet. I think this will be an interesting confrontation. And whoa! Murdoch there with a near fall. He's got Dr. Death in a pinning predicament. You won't see Doc down in that situation too often.
In his 4 years in the NCAA as a four-time All-American for Coach Stanley Abel at the University of Oklahoma, not too many men put him in that position. But he wasn't facing Dick Murdoch every week either, Joel, for the Sooners.
Oh, certainly not. As I was saying before, I believe this will be a very interesting confrontation because Dr. Death is in such fantastic physical condition, as we spoke of many times before, but so is Dick Murdoch. He really knows how to pace himself. He's got that experience, but he's also got so much energy. He seemingly has a boundless reserve. He could go forever. I barely ever see him get winded or tired in a match. He just keeps going, and he keeps that intensity level up for the entire thing. He never gets flustered, and he's always cool and calculating. A great thinker in the ring, as well as a fantastic, well-conditioned athlete.
You know, with Ric Flair's statement that he made that Bill Watts talked about last week here at Mid-South Wrestling, that Flair only wanted to wrestle the North American champion for the world's title. That puts Dr. Death right in this situation at this point in time. I know he's got his sights set on some lofty goals, and the North American title, the logical step. Dick Murdoch needs to retain the title, quite obviously, to get his match with Ric Flair. Hacksaw Butch Reed's got his name in the hat. Of course, Hacksaw Jim Duggan's got to be considered as one of the top contenders.
No doubt about it. We have seen these two men thus far of the ring in close contact with one another. Not much distance between the two, and of course, that's both of their grappling styles. They like to stay in there tight with the man because they both got a lot of strength and a lot of mass. Of course, Dr. Death used the hair as a little subterfuge. There he goes again. Trying to maneuver Tommy Gilbert out of position, but to no avail. Gilbert breaks the hold, and now they're back up even. And Murdoch is hot. Murdoch's hot. He's ready to brawl.
I can see with this match it'd be extremely hard to officiate. Good job there moments ago by the official. Ooh, Murdoch with that elbow. And it found a home. Dr. Death is reeling. And Murdoch holding his arm. Dr. Death's got a hard hit. Murdoch with a body slam. Trailing the leg. 1-2.
1-2, and Dr. Death kicks out. Back up into a standing position, circling cautiously around Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch. I think both of these men respect each other very much, especially as we see the match progress. And they get to test out one another's strengths and weaknesses. Dr. Death firing a shoulder into that midsection. Captain Redneck there in the turnbuckle area. He drops a leg across the head of Murdoch. Down for the fall, but Murdoch with a nice reversal comes up on top with the front face lock, and he's got Dr. Death off of his base now. Very advantageous position for Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch. He's controlling the head right now, and whether you can see it or not, I'm sure Dr. Death is in an extreme amount of pain because Murdoch has got that that wrist bone clamped across the jawbone of Dr. Death. And brother, that wrenches your neck like you wouldn't believe, especially when applied by 270 pounds of awesome strength at Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch.
You know, we've got a couple of very interested observers, as I mentioned earlier, in the match. Bruiser Bob Sweetan looking on very intently. There you see him at the bottom of your screen. And another very interested observer, Hacksaw Butch Reed at ringside as well.
Doc up to his feet with all that awesome power. There's where that conditioning comes in. Dr. Death manages to pick him up in a deadlift. Extremely strong back. Dr. Death never fails to amaze me with his tremendous physical power. He's just a brute.
Murdoch, like a large pit bull, held on though, Joel. I tell you, this is quite a matchup. Quite a matchup. Remember, it's for the North American title, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us.
Well, there you see the experience in play of Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch. He is staying in that front face lock as long as he can because it's controlling Dr. Death. But Doc, with all that power, manages to force his way out of it. That's how he was in amateur ranks back in college, brother. He didn't have all the technique in the world, but there wasn't anybody that could hold him down on the mat. There, Doc goes for the fall. Tommy Gilbert stuck in a bad situation there. But Dr. Death up to the rear chin lock. Here the fans getting behind Dick Murdoch. As now we see Dr. Death controlling the head and therefore controlling the body.
Good shot of Dick Murdoch there. You see a couple of front teeth missing.
He's been in a few brawls.
He's been in a few brawls in and out of the ring, Joel.
Most definitely. Dr. Death still controlling that head with a rear chin lock. Scientific battle taking place right here in this Mid-South Wrestling main event. It's for all the marbles. The North American Heavyweight Championship. 27 pounds of silver and gold. And the gateway to the NWA World Heavyweight title held by Ric Flair. Dr. Death, Steve Williams now up from the power of Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch. Both of these men so powerful. There Murdoch goes for that arm whip, but Dr. Death with a beautiful reversal. He's got him up for the stampede. It looked as if he had him set, but he goes for the body slam. I think he was losing his balance with Murdoch. Murdoch takes him outside of the ring. Nice maneuver by Murdoch. He sidestepped him. It looked as if, I think Doc had a little bit too much confidence there. There's where that experience comes in. And there we see a little altercation between Hacksaw Butch Reed and Bruiser Bob Sweetan.
Why you just go sit down?
I think Reed will be, oh! Bruiser Bob Sweetan hit Reed with a karate chop to the throat and took him to the steel post. Murdoch's got knocked up in an airplane spin and he obliterates Tommy Gilbert.
Tommy Gilbert was hit right in the face by the feet of Dr. Death, and now Bruiser Bob Sweetan coming in.
He's got him up for the Brave Buster, but Sweetan again with a karate chop. Butch Reed with the soup bone. Dr. Death has got Murdoch down in a pity predicament, but Reed is holding Sweetan off. Dr. Death loads that arm brace and catches Reed from behind. He's got Reed hurt, and Murdoch is still down. What a collision. Reed falls on top of Murdoch. Reed is down, and he's on top of Murdoch, who is still hurt, injured from Dr. Death. Both men getting up, but Sweetan to the ring apron. Sweetan is on the ring apron, and Dr. Death is still down, as is Tommy Gilbert. Murdoch to his feet slowly. Sweetan coming around. Oh! What?
Why did Murdoch is just nailed. Butch Reed, he stopped him in the face.
He must have thought Reed was the one who interfered in the match.
Reed came to help Murdoch. And now Murdoch has got both men, Dr. Death and Bruiser Bob Sweetan, to contend with. Reed came to help Murdoch, and now Sweetan and Dr. Death are working over the North American champion.
He was holding him up, but Dr. Death got him bound by the legs, and both men are kicking him while he's down. They're kicking him while he's down, and Hacksaw Butch Reed is still out of the ring. You hear the roar of the fans. The Fantastics are into the ring. Al Perez, Wendell Cooley, they're coming to the aid of Dick Murdoch, who is being brutalized by Sweetan and Death. Hacksaw Butch Reed getting up slowly outside of the ring.
Joe Reed came to help Murdoch. Why did Murdoch nail him?
Reed.
Boom!
Reed's hot.
There's a soup ball right to the jaw. Boy, we've got it going right now. We got it going. Reed and Murdoch are going toe-to-toe.
There's no reason for it, Jim. These two men, oh, they are hot at each other.
right back. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, a startling incident has just occurred. If you just joined us, Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch and Hacksaw Butch Reed involved in a serious altercation. There's apparently a lot of animosity between them, but it was caused from a misunderstanding. It took the entire commercial break to break up the fighting between them. It was just an unbelievable brawl. It was amazing.
It certainly was. I have never seen anything like the physical confrontation they had. As Joel said, it took the whole commercial break and everybody to get these guys separated. We think we've got things back a little bit under normal circumstances. Let's go to the ring in our next match.
This is your first standby bout. One fall or television time remaining. In the red corner, General Skandar Akbar presents from Puerto Rico, El Cosario. And his opponent in the blue corner, to my left, Jimmy Backlund. Your referee, Carl Fergie.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one fall or television time remaining. Jimmy Backlund going against the martial arts expert. Can barely talk after all we've been seeing here. El Cosario and Jimmy Backlund. Skandar Akbar brings his martial arts expert from Puerto Rico to the ring. Visits judo chop and this man El Cosario. Perhaps that is the most power slam. First time we've seen him execute that maneuver. He may be the most talented martial arts expert, Joel, currently wrestling today.
There's a lot of mass and a lot of quickness, and there's that savate-like kick straight to the neck. He could break boards with it, and can you imagine what this man could do to you?
El Cosario with a very quick victory. Skandar Akbar in the ring with him, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back with tag team action after this exciting announcement from the Mid-South Network.
Your second standby bout, one fall or television time remaining, a tag team match. In the red corner from Alltroff, Texas, Dirty Dutch Mantell. And his partner from Melbourne, Australia, Superstar Bill Dundee. And across the ring, in the blue corner, the team from Tennessee, Pat Rose and Carl Stiles. One fall or television time remaining. Your referee, Tommy Gilbert.
Hold it, Dundee. It's okay. I got a lot of respect for you, man. Please come over here. I got a lot of respect for you. I admire you, as a matter of fact. Yeah, that's right. Because back when I was in Memphis, Tennessee, when I was growing up and watching you, brother, you brought class to professional wrestling. You brought glamour to professional wrestling because you were a winner, you are a winner, and you're a great man. Yes, sir, you too, Mr. Mantell.
Come to think about it, back in my own wardrobe at home, I got a picture of you and me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right, I do.
You
Me and him have a picture taken together in Memphis.
That's right. You know, then I noticed something that kind of irks me a little bit. A few weeks ago or something, you mentioned to Mr. Bobby Fulton not to do your strut any longer, right?
It's Bobby Fulton. No,
That's right. That's right. Well, Bobby Fulton, you told him not to do your strut.
That's right. He kept
Right.
on doing it, didn't
He kept on doing it. Now, if you had told me that, sir, I would have naturally quit that. But he didn't.
All right.
So I'm very proud of you. So
I'm
that
very
just
proud of
brings
you
me
too,
to a
young
little
man.
presentation that I like to make to you.
I wonder
If I
what you
can
had
pull
in
this
that
out of
bag.
here.
Hey,
That-
it's my suit,
That's
Jack.
right. That's your
Oh,
suit.
stop. Where'd you get that?
Mr. Dundee, I took care of a little midget for you because nobody beat you for that suit. that suit belongs to you, Dundee. You are a superstar professional wrestling, and you deserve that.
Mr. Gilbert.
That's right. Thank you.
Well, certainly an interesting situation as Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert comes to the ring, perhaps showing his true colors. We know Dundee likes hot pink. He got his suit back, so he should be in a good mood for this final match here today on Mid-South Wrestling.
I kind of wonder what he meant by taking care of the midget. That kind of baffling statement there. Dundee set to take on Carl Styles. Little jaw action from Dundee as usual. Very vocal competitor.
You know, Carl Styles is just about as country as they come, but one thing about that farm boy from Tennessee, he's a strong wrestler. He's 285 pounds, and the little superstar, on a test of strength there, has been off considerably more than he can digest.
Well, Carl Styles bench presses in excess of 500 pounds. He is raw bone talent, power. Dundee and Mantell, a little double teaming there, keeping him their side of the ring, showing that you don't have to be big. Some tactics can help out, and some tag team strategy can help out as well. Carl Styles makes a tag, and in comes Pat Rose. Dirty Dutch Mantell setting himself quite quickly for that situation. He goes to the arm bar and twist, controlling Pat Rose and moving him into he and Dundee's corner of the ring. Tag into Dundee, and Dundee continues on the armbar and twist.
Whoa! Well, he nailed Dundee right in the mouth. Right in the mouth, as square as he could. And that will, he may be going to the dentist tomorrow morning. Right in the mouth. I don't know if a blow of the mouth can keep him from talking, though.
But, yeah, I think you practically have to break his jaw and wire it shut to make it be quiet. There he tags in to Dirty Dutch. Whoa, Pat Rose again goes for that right cross, but Dutch was ready for it. Ever the tactician, Dutch Mantell is as quick a thinker as there is in the wrestling profession. He's also a great athlete, a great brawler.
And a high-impact expert. He is a high-impact man, and Dundee, of course, he's a superstar. There's no doubt about that. And here comes Carl Styles from the hills of Tennessee.
You know, Jim, you're saying high impact. Both of these men are such great tacticians. I see them use a lot of high-risk maneuvers, but I barely ever see any of them backfire on it. They always seem to wait for the right time to make that high-risk maneuver work. There, Dundee goes for the chokehold, and now using the right cross while Tommy Gilbert had his back turned, trying to put Dirty Dutch Mantell out. I think that might have been a tactic on the part of Dutch Mantell. These two men with their teamwork working together. Whoa! Off that second rope comes Mantell.
And Dundee was still talking when he left the ring, Joel. This is an arrogant team. They're a cocky team, but they are very effective.
Tag team. Extraordinaire. Dirty Dutch Mantell. Superstar Dundee. Mantell there. Trying to maneuver Gilbert out of the position.
Well, Dundee was tagged. Dundee was a legal man in the ring. He came right off the top rope. Superstar Bill Dundee and Dirty Dutch Mantell, the winners here on Mid-South Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. And it has been quite an exciting hour. Now, Joel, to recap the situation as we keep the camera right here, ladies and gentlemen, thus far, we've seen an impressive victory with Wendell Cooley, now Perez, the new Mid-South Tag Champion. Hacksaw Butch Reed with an awesome victory here today on Mid-South Wrestling. Humongous and a Barbarian. Well, what more can you say about that team? And then the North American title match. Your thoughts on that match, Joel?
Well, there's obviously a misunderstanding between the two. Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch thought that Hacksaw Butch Reed was the one who interfered in the match, where in actuality, it was Bruiser Bob Sweetan. A fight broke out between Murdoch and Reed, and it took practically everybody in the dressing room to get it pulled apart. The fans were standing through the entire thing. It was a very electrifying situation. And like I said before, caused by a misunderstanding, but apparently now there's a lot of animosity between Reed and Murdoch, and it's somewhat unsubstantiated.
Well, of course, you know, ladies and gentlemen, it was a great hour. We're going to have another exciting hour next week. We're going to finalize our program with a great video that Joel produced on the Fantastics for ring announcer Boyd Pierce and Joel Watts. I'm Jim Ross saying we'll see you next week, everybody.
somebody to come by and pick us up, man.
I do too. You know, we got to get downtown. That's where all the girls are.
You ain't lying, brother.
I've been up, I've been down, take my word, my way around. I ain't asking for much. I said, Lord, take me downtown. I'm just looking for some touch. I've been bad, I've been good. Dallas, Texas, Hollywood. I ain't asking for much. I said, Lord, take me downtown. I'm just looking for some touch. Take me back, way back home, not by myself, not alone. I ain't asking for much. I said, Lord, take me downtown. I'm just looking for some touch.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Mid-South Wrestling Television Network. I'm your host, Boyd Pierce, and as always, a tremendous card. You'll see all the top stars coming to Mid-South, and this week, the unpredictable Dick Slater is here. Also, the international star, Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. Also, Jake the Snake Roberts teams up with Hacksaw Jim Duggan in a tag team match, and listen to this team match. It'll be the Fantastics, Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton, taking on the returning Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death Steve Widget. To tell you about it, along with other things that's happening, the president of Mid-South Sports, Cowboy Bill Watts. Bill?
Well, thank you, Boyd. I want to thank all the people for coming to the taping today because there was a tremendous storm right before it. It just goes to touch on the loyalty of wrestling fans. We also have a TV title match, Hacksaw Butch Reed against Bad Bob Brown. Some announcements. Kerry and Kevin Von Erich won the American Tag Team title in Tulsa, Oklahoma from Chris Adams and Gorgeous Gino Hernandez. They were also presented with a huge get well card that K107 Radio and all the wrestling fans signed for Mike Von Erich. This card was bigger than the one Bruce Springsteen got at his concert in Denver. That was a great show of affection, and they were really touched. Now, Ric Flair, the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, has caused tremendous friction in an area that is always hotly contested anyway, the North American Championship. There are 3 front runners to the challenge Flair: Duggan, Reed, and Dick Murdoch, the current North American Champion. Flair stated he will only defend the world's title against the North American Champion. I want to state right here, he can't do that. Mid-South and the NWA decide who his opponent will be when he defends the world's title. But the North American title is one of the most prestigious and coveted crowns in wrestling, because anyone that compares wrestling anywhere in any area feels the toughest competition is here in the Mid-South, and we appreciate that. It is the most intense competition. Last week it boiled over during Murdoch's defense of the title against Dr. Death. Let's rejoin a few moments of the final bout of that match.
It looked as if he had him set, but he goes for the body slam. I think he was losing his balance with Murdoch. Murdoch takes him outside of the ring. Nice maneuver by Murdoch. He sidestepped him. It looked as if, I think Doc had a little bit too much confidence there. There's where that experience comes in. And there we see a little altercation between Hacksaw Butch Reed and Bruiser Bob Sweetan.
Why you just go sit down?
I think Reed will be, oh! Bruiser Bob Sweetan hit Reed with a karate chop to the throat and took him to the steel post. Murdoch's got Doc up in an airplane spin, and he obliterates Tommy Gilbert.
Tommy Gilbert was hit right in the face by the feet of Dr. Death, and now Bruiser Bob Sweetan coming in.
He's got him up for the brain buster, but Sweetan again with a karate chop. Butch Reed with a soup bone. Dr. Death has got Murdoch down in a pity predicament, but Reed is holding Sweetan up. Dr. Death loads that arm brace and catches Reed from behind. He's got Reed hurting, and Murdoch is still down. What a collision. Reed falls on top of Murdoch. Reed is down, and he's on top of Murdoch, who is still hurt and injured from Dr. Death. Both men getting up, but Sweetan to the ring apron. Sweetan is on the ring apron, and Dr. Death is still down, as is Tommy Gilbert. Murdoch to his feet slowly. Sweetan coming around. Oh! What?
Why did Murdoch is this nail? Butch Reed, he stopped him in the face.
He must have thought Reed was the one who interfered in the match.
Reed came to help Murdoch. And now Murdoch has got both men, Dr. Death and Bruiser Bob Sweetan, to contend with. Reed came to help Murdoch, and now Sweetan and Dr. Death are working over the North American champion.
He was holding him up, but Dr. Death got him bound by the legs, and both men are kicking him while he's down. They're kicking him while he's down, and Hacksaw Butch Reed is still out of the ring. You hear the roar of the fans. The Fantastics are into the ring. Al Perez, Wendell Cooley, they're coming to the aid of Dick Murdoch, who is being brutalized by Sweetan and Death. Hacksaw Butch Reed getting up slowly outside of the ring.
Joe Reed came to help Murdoch. Why did Murdoch nail him?
Reed.
Ooh!
Reed's hot.
There's a soup ball right to the jaw. Boy, we've got it going right now. We got it going. Reed and Murdoch are going toe-to-toe.
There's no reason for it, Jim. These two men. Oh, they are hot at each other.
Oh, there we go. It's fist and fire right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try to restore some order right here.
So Reed, a top contender and the television champion, and Dick Murdoch, the North American champion, are on a collision course for the North American title and a date with Ric Flair. Hacksaw Jim Duggan must also be considered a definite factor in the situation. And now today, the man who creates more problems than anyone has returned, Ted DiBiase, the former North American champion, and when he left for personal business reasons to go to Japan, he was one half of the Mid-South Tag Championship. However, under duress because of what happened at the Superdome, He left power of attorney to represent him in title matches with bruiser Bob Sweetan, a former Brass Knucks champion. However, as everyone knows, Sweetan and Dr. Death lost the titles 5 weeks ago right here on Mid-South Wrestling to Al Perez and Wildcat Cooley. Well, DiBiase's back and in the ring with Jim Ross, and he has some comments. Let's go to that now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ted DiBiase, Steve Dr. Death Williams, Bruiser Bob Sweetan, three of the toughest athletes in the Mid-South, no doubt about it, with Mr. DiBiase back from Japan. You requested some time to make a few statements. At this time, Ted DiBiase.
That's right, Jim Ross. Ric Flair, very simply has put it, he will not defend the heavyweight championship of the world against anybody but the North American champion. Well, I'm here to throw my name in a hat because everybody in Mid-South knows that I have undisputedly held the North American heavyweight title more times and longer than any wrestler that's ever held that belt. Am I right?
Exactly right. You certainly have.
Now, the forerunners, Dick Murdoch, I don't care about Murdoch. I can't stand Duggan. Butch Reed, you've got that TV title. That TV title could be the stepping stone I need, Butch Reed, because I need the leverage to deal with Mid-South. What am I talking about, Jim Ross? You know, some people in Mid-South get things when they want them. Duggan, Reed, Murdoch, but Ted DiBiase doesn't get anything unless he's got leverage. Leverage means a title. Now, when I left for Japan, I had that leverage. One half of the Mid-South Tag Team titles. Unfortunately, I came back to Mid-South and I don't have that leverage. But I'm here to say, I want a shot at the North American title. I want a shot at Ric Flair. Now, about the Mid-South Tag Team titles, while we're here, Bob Sweetan, I pulled off, masterminded, the greatest ambush that ever's come down the pike in professional wrestling in the Superdome, and snaked Jake Roberts and successfully retained the Mid-South Tag Team titles. You begged me, Sweetan, you begged me when I left to go to Japan, please let me carry one half of the let me represent you as one half of the tag team title holders. I gave you power of attorney to do just that, to represent me so Mid-South couldn't interfere. And very simply putting it, Sweetan, you blew it. You blew it, Sweetan. You blew it, and nobody does that to me. Nobody.
I didn't blow it. I'm not the one that lost the fall. It was your partner that lost the fall right here on television. So don't be blaming me for the titles not being where they're supposed to be.
Look, Sweetan, he may have lost the title. Now we're taking care of that business. I want you to go get Grizzly Smith over in the ring and go up that dressing room and bring them two paper champions that say they're the Mid-South Tag Team champions down here right now, because Dr. Death and his partner Ted DiBiase are going to show all these people right here today, if we can get it done, who the real Mid-South Tag Team champions. Go take care of him. Come on.
I mean, go take care of him.
Come on, Grizzly Smith. Come on down here. I want you to go up there and get those two paperweights, those two champions who are nobodies, and get them down here in the ring. Get them down here in the ring. That's right. Because there ain't nobody.
Boy, this is broken down to a pair six brawl. Looks like Sweetan was fired, so to speak, but he isn't taking it too well. He's badly lacerated. But Sweetan, a former Brass Knucks champion, and Steve Ratt, toe-to-toe. Dr. Death coming from behind with a steel chair. He's thrown in the ring to DiBiase. Sweetan's intercepted that chair. He's ripped DiBiase's coat. He's ripped his shirt. Bob Sweetan will show you why he's a Brass Knucks champion. And DiBiase and Dr. Death. Dr. Death just got crowding him. It's out of control here. Bruiser Bob Sweetan is really hot. DiBiase ripped from limb to elbow, his coat in shreds. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. crowd is still buzzing, Boyd. Bruiser Bob Sweetan, a seasoned veteran, former Brass Knucks champion, turned the tables on DiBiase and Doc. The referees are still trying to restrain Sweetan so he can't head up to that dressing room. At the Peachtree Plaza in Atlanta, Georgia, Joel went to sign Mr. Unpredictable, Dick Slater. Let's watch on videotape that signing.
Dick Slater, a man whose name you may recognize, is an international wrestling superstar. He's held many major titles around the world, and his wrestling style is as fast-paced and wide open as his jet-set lifestyle. As vice president of Mid-South, I traveled to Atlanta recently to sign Slater to a contract with Mid-South. We met at Peachtree Plaza and conducted our signing on the 70th floor of the Peachtree Hotel. Slater made some interesting comments during the signing.
To have you come and wrestle for us full-time if you'd like to sign it at this time.
First of all, I don't usually sign anything unless I read it. Second of all, babe, I got my own pen. Third of all, I know that I invited you here. And I know you're affiliated with the people that are holders of this contract. Now, I'm on a mission myself. The only mission I'm on is for a great deal of money. I've held every national, regional title there is in the profession today. But the thing that I'm after now is the money. I've known every wrestling hold. I've beaten everybody that there is to beat. And I've caused more chaos and more excitement than any man in professional wrestling today. And when I go after somebody, which right now I'm not revealing to anybody what I am actually doing at all, and I know there's a lot of people curious. Now, I was coming to the Mid-South area regardless of signing this contract or not. I knew I was going to have to sign a contract coming there one way or another. But as for what I am really doing and what I'm going to accomplish, it's going to surprise the wrestling world. And like I said before, a lot of people want to know what I'm doing with my lady, or who she is. That's nobody's business but my own. And anybody that asks me, I will let them know when a good time comes. But as for now, I am going to stay right here in Atlanta, and when you see me in the Mid-South area, you're going to know that somebody at some time is going to be in for a whole lot of trouble.
Slater eventually signed the contract. It's official. He's on his way to the Mid-South. Who he is after and who his lady friend is remains a mystery. For Mid-South Sports, I'm Joel Watts with Dick Slater in Atlanta, Georgia.
Dick Slater is unpredictable, but the main thing, a lot of major talent coming to Mid-South right now. The intensity of the competition, the North American title, the statement by Flair, whatever it is. Let's go to Jim Ross in the ring and Dick Slater.
This match on Mid-South Wrestling, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the red corner at 235 pounds from Tampa, Florida, Dick Slater. His opponent, standing in the blue corner, weighing 230 pounds from New York City, Broadway Joe Malcolm. Your referee is Carl Fergie.
Well, Broadway Joe being introduced, but first his opponent, the unpredictable Dick Slater from Florida, as Carl Fergie called for the bell, Bill, and we're underway.
And boy, this is not an oversight of Jim Ross that we didn't introduce the lady with Dick Slater. Dick Slater said so far, her name's none of our business. So we don't know what her relationship is, whether she's a valet, a companion, or just what. But Dick Slater is a tremendous bundle of nervous energy. He is a double tough athlete. As Broadway Joe is finding out. 235, 240 pounds, Dick Slater. Asks no quarter and gives none. Says he has a mission. He won't say who has sent him on the mission. He says he's after the dollar. Well, he's always been after the dollar. Let me tell you, when you get in pro wrestling, you better be after the dollar, and you better be serious about it, because it's not a kid's game. As he paintbrushes Broadway Joe. Dick Slater showing that tremendous agility. Slater going to the like a Russian foot sweep maneuver. Slater put Broadway Joe's foot over to break Fergie's count. Dick Slater took Broadway Joe's foot and put it over the bottom rope that broke Carl Fergie's count. He must want to punish the man a little bit more. Drops that elbow on him.
Well, without any particulars, we don't know her name, Bill, but she is in his corner on the outside
He watches
of the ring.
intensely. What's this maneuver? Up for an airplane spin. Fall away. One, two, three. Dick Slater, the winner. We'll be back with the Humongous and the Barbarian, Boyd.
Right after this word from Mid-South Wrestling.
Last week, Jake the Snake jumped in a match that he wasn't booked into. Humongous and the Barbarian were involved. They started in on him. And from an unusual quarter, Jake the Snake got the toughest help in Mid-South when Hacksaw Duggan came to the rescue. Let's rewatch what happened here last week on Mid-South.
A pair of men that are extremely powerful themselves, but they're up against so much brute strength, and look at that! My goodness!
These men are big and they are awesome, and Humperdinck has them under his control. No more devastating team in wrestling, and you're seeing them now. And they're throwing bodies all over the Irishman Nail Boys Club.
Humongous is down near the steel railing. It's Tim Constance, but you hear the roar of the crowd. And Jake the Snake Roberts has entered the ring. He has entered the scene, and he has really put the punishment to the Barbarian. He goes for the arm whip. Reversal. Oh! Jake the Snake catches him with a knee. Clothesline. The fans are on their feet, Jim.
We've got people standing, and Jake the Snake Roberts, now it's going to be 2-on-1. It's Jake the Snake Roberts, the Barbarian and Humongous both on this man.
Oh, that face mask, he hit him right in the kidney, and now with a headbutt with that face mask. Out goes Carl Fergie over the top rope. Humongous is so powerful. Now it's Barbarian and Humongous, and once again, Jake the Snake Roberts is at the mercy of both of these men. And they are so brutal, Humperdinck urging them on.
They're trying to put Jake Roberts out permanently and lacerated him. Referee time again with a manhandle referees and wrestlers. This crowd is standing. Jake Roberts is in severe trouble. His career is on the line right here.
Gosh, these men are just brutalizing Jake Roberts. They have really opened a severe laceration on Roberts' head. We have got to get some order restored in this situation. Humongous continuing to brutalize Jake the Snake Roberts with that face mask. You hear the roar of the crowd. You hear the roar of the crowd, and Jake the Snake has got some help. He has got some help in the form of Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and he's got a steel chair. He has got a steel chair.
Hacksaw Duggan standing them off. Hacksaw Duggan has brought the furniture in the ring. And Jake Roberts is in deep trouble, ladies and gentlemen.
Boy, a collision between those four can be more than a collision or a traffic jam or a wreck on a freeway. That's some heavy beat. Let's go to the ring now. Jim Ross in the next match.
This event, one fall with a 10-minute.
Wait a minute, I'm the only one that can introduce this team properly. The team that they said couldn't be put together. The most awesome duo in professional wrestling today. The Guardians to the gates of hell. The Barbarian and Humongous.
Ladies and gentlemen, their opponents at a combined weight of 450 pounds, a team of Tony Falk and Pat Rose. Your referee is Tommy Gilbert.
Tag team action now as Jim Ross introduces the team of Tony Falk and Pat Rose. Sir Oliver Humperdinck tells us about his team of Humongous and the Barbarian. Tommy Gilbert calls for the bell. Bill Watts is ready.
Humongous, the road warrior, or the war lord, or whatever you call him, he just is on the attack constantly. Strange to see such a contrast in physique between Humongous, the Barbarian, and their mental mentor, Sir Oliver Humperdinck. Strange how a man with a body like that would be attracted to such tremendous physiques, but even more strange how they would listen to such a toad. However, Duggan and Jake the Snake What a collision. What a collision. Sparks should fly. The Barbarian. Awesome size. These guys, 6'6", 6'7", over 300 pounds, not an ounce of fat on them. And Tony Falk, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Falk looks to me like he weighs 235 pounds, and he's just like a rag doll out there. Oftentimes people ask us, how do you book matches like this? Well, in wrestling, professional wrestling right now, there's very little in the junior heavyweight division. But that's 225 and under. So you'd still have to go into the heavyweight division, which is still the thing even in amateur wrestling. And you've got to face it when you're out there. And the guys, in order to make the big money, they got to go against the top studs. And without a doubt, this team could surpass the Road Warriors, the Freebirds, anything else. As far as physical, I've never seen anything like it. Except maybe Hacksaw Duggan and Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake with his devious mind and the DDT. And Hacksaw Duggan with a heart as big as the Superdome, and the tremendous athletic ability, and especially on the crest of running Skandar Akbar and his crew out. Decapitation time.
Mercy.
You almost cringe to see it. Ladies and gentlemen, you're at home. You can't hear the bone snap, the meat snap. That's awesome.
And the team of Humongous and the Barbarian take the measure of Falk and Pat Rose. We'll be back to listen to and see in action the international star Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer after this important message from Mid-South.
Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, one of the toughest, most explosive international stars, has come to Mid-South and invaded it after a hiatus of some 2 years. Let's hear his remarks from a pre-taped interview before we went on the air today with Jim Ross.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, one of the most internationally acclaimed wrestling stars in the profession. He has a few comments to make to the fans of the Mid-South.
That's right. You know, down here in the Mid-South, every time I hear something about wrestling, I hear the Mid-South. First I go to New York. When I get down with New York, I slap Hogan and all of them around. They kick me out because they ain't tough enough. Then I go to Atlanta, GA, and I smack and beat everybody down there, and I'm too tough. And what do they tell me? They say when you come to this place here, that's when you prove you're the toughest. Because this here is where it all happens. You shut your mouth. This here is where the Mad Dog is going to show you people what the Mad Dog's like. So get ready for it.
Those comments from the Mad Dog.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard his remarks. Now you're going to see an explosion in person. Let's go to ring announcer Jim Ross.
Ladies and gentlemen, this event, one fall with a 10-minute time limit, introducing first in the red corner at 255 pounds, St. Petersburg, Florida, Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. His opponent weighs 232 pounds from Panama City, Florida, Richard Dunn. Your referee, Carl Fergie.
Rick Dunn will be the man that takes on Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. Carl Fergie calls for the bell quickly, and the match is underway.
Mad Dog has just attacked him. I don't know what he is so vicious. Look at him rub his face into the mat cover. There's, you know, a mat cover of canvas out there. If any of you kids have wrestled amateur and ever got a mat burn, you can know how much deeper and worse it is off that canvas. It eats you up. Turns your face to your knees, your elbows into hamburger. Rick Dunn is bleeding in the head as Buzz Sawyer just attacks you. His whole body is a weapon. What a collision between he and Duggan, because neither one of them, they don't care about their own personal safety. There's a whole host of tremendous new stars invading Mid-South. This could be the most competitive season. Power slam! Power slam! He made short work. The Mad Dog, he just reminds you of a pit bull. Look at him there, boys.
He took him out, Bill. He never got out of the starting blocks. Carried it to him, Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer for the victory. We'll have Hacksaw Duggan and Jake the Snake coming up after this word from the exciting Mid-South Wrestling Television Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this tag team event on Mid-South Wrestling, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first the team in the red corner at 234 pounds from Florida, Jerry Gray. And for parts unknown at 280 pounds, the Nightmare. Their opponent at 252 pounds from Atlanta, Georgia, Jake the Snake Roberts. And his partner at 278 pounds from Glens Falls, New York, Hacksaw Duggan.
Tag team action now. The cheers for the Nightmare and Jerry Gray, but those cheers turned to cheers. The fans here as Hacksaw Duggan and Jake the Snake was introduced.
Boy, the pace is picking up. This is a great main event. We still have a television title match coming. Hacksaw Butch Reed against the powerful newcomer Bad Bob Brown, and the Fantastics against Dr. Death and Ted DiBiase. Next week, we're trying to sign, for the first time ever on TV, a pole match. A showdown involving the Fantastics and Dutch Mantell's whip. Jake the Snake will wrestle El Casario, who's undefeated here on TV. He will not have Akbar with him. And Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert has an audacious offer for all the young ladies. Don't miss next week. And now we see why Jake the Snake is such a dangerous opponent. He's always thinking. He's always got something on his mind. And I'll guarantee you the greatest thing he had on his mind was getting Hacksaw Jim Duggan on his side as the Nightmare, a powerful man. Former North American champion, just found out. Listen to this crowd chanting, boys. Duggan, Duggan, Duggan.
They love him.
He's been through so much here. They really appreciate it. He caught Jerry Gray in midair. Look at the strength and the power of Jim Duggan. Jerry Graham kicking in the midsection, Jake the Snake, and Jake the Snake says this thing has happened with he and the Barbarian. There has to be a final solution, something that's never been done ever in the history of wrestling. He said he's thinking on it. He stays up night about it. The people want the DDT. They're calling for it. The Nightmare came from behind. Duggan speared him out. Jake the Snake setting. He's going to use Big Duggan as a weapon, but Jerry knows better. But he walks right back in to the spider's web, to the rattlesnake stem, the DDT, and listen to this crowd. They love the DDT, boys.
He got him as Duggan keeps the Nightmare outside. Jake the Snake takes a measure of Jerry Gray. We'll be back. The television and title match coming up after this word from Mid-South.
This match is for the Mid-South television title, one fall or 15-minute time limit. Introducing first the challenger, standing in the red corner at 260 pounds from Macon, Georgia, Bad Bob Brown. His opponent is the Mid-South television champion at 265 pounds from Kansas City, Hacksaw Butch Reed.
Bill Watts, are you here? An exciting packed house here at the Irish McNeil Boys Club in Shreveport, Louisiana. Really vocal in their support. Great, great matches, and this should be more of the same for the Mid-South television title. Makes it a one-fall, 15-minute time limit. The champion Hacksaw Butch Reed versus the challenger Bad Bob Brown.
That's right, Boyd, and the streets were flooded. There was an intense thunderstorm, high winds, hail, and everything, and yet the people came out. Again, I think professional wrestling fans are the greatest fans in the world, and I'm proud of every one of them. These are two powerhouses. You know, I read a lot of the fan mail. We don't get to answer a lot of it. Somebody said Butch Reed was a muscle-bound stiff. Let me tell you something, partner. Butch Reed's got a weightlifter's body because he spent a lot of time in the gym. But at Northeastern Oklahoma A&M in Miami, Oklahoma, he's a junior college All-American. He then was All-American linebacker at Central Missouri State College. He then played for the Kansas City Chiefs. But he was powerlifting and working out the whole time. You better check yourself out, you critics at home. And when you start accusing somebody like Butch Reed of being a muscle-bound stiff, you ought to get in the ring with him. One thing you'll find out, he's stiff. He's stiff as steel. But he's a flexible, tremendous athlete, the television champion. And his quest is to become the first black world's heavyweight champion. And in order to do that, he feels he's got to gain the titles and the North American title. And Captain Redneck, Dick Murdoch, on his way. Two fantastic athletes. What a tremendous collision. And you fans are the beneficiaries when you get to see contests like that. Bad Bob Brown, a newcomer, powerful built, short, stocky. They locked up in sheer power, but you can see Butch Reed, the reason he built his body was to have that reserve of power. We got the Fantastics coming up against Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death. That should put tremendous speed, agility, and explosion against a well-seasoned veteran DiBiase, a powerhouse, a four-time college All-American, Dr. Death. As the excitement level picks up here.
We're seeing a test of strength now in his television title match. Bad Bob Brown against the champion, Hacksaw Butch Reed. And like Bill said, a tremendous athlete. I don't see how you can think otherwise.
Well, in all my career around, I've never, ever seen a statue erected to a critic. And yet many people who write in, that seemingly they can solve all the problems in the world, and they always know the way around it. Until you've tried it. Didn't you see that maneuver? Reed went over the top. That's almost like O.J. Simpson going for that short yardage touchdown. He was trying to correct himself in midair, but Bad Bob was just too strong and got him elevated. But Butch put the knee to him. This is a man that had arthroscopic surgery in Tulsa and wrestled 1 week later. You talk about tough. Hacksaw Butch Reed didn't get that name Hacksaw from being anything but like cold steel. He and Duggan, what a pair. You know, when they've been teamed on occasion, they've never been beaten. That powerful gorilla slam, as he calls it, and Bad Bob sees why Butch Reed is the television champion.
And Reed retains that medallion and the title, and we'll be back with that exciting tag team battle after this word from Mid-South Wrestling Television Network.
This tag team match of Mid-South Wrestling, one fall or television time remaining, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing the team in the red corner at 262 pounds from Oklahoma University, Dr. Death, Steve Williams. His partner at 255 pounds from Omaha, Nebraska, Ted DiBiase. And their opponents at a combined weight of 420 pounds from the City of Angels, Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton, the Fantastics.
And how do you like your rapping action? Rough and rugged, fast and furious. We're going to see it all right here as the Fantastics take on Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Ted DiBiase. Tommy Gilbert says, give me one from each team. There he goes, Bobby Fulton and Dr. Death.
Boy, you're going to see here a classic confrontation between junior heavyweight size tag team specialists in the Fantastics. Fulton and Rogers. There's no way that in a single match that they should have to face a team like this or a single match like this. But these guys are specialists, much like the Rock and Roll. And DiBiase and Dr. Death, former Mid-South Tag Champions, are specialists of their own too. But they are about 30 to 35 pounds apiece bigger. So it's going to be a classic matchup. You're going to have the cat-like quickness and the tremendous explosion capitalized on a mistake because it only takes 3 seconds. You see Bobby Fulton between Dr. Death's legs, 2 drop kicks, a couple of arm drags, and just how fast the momentum can change. These guys are quick. They're sudden. And Tommy Rogers out there has explosion in every move and every fiber. Dr. Death showing that power, tremendous power. Ted DiBiase, a man that causes more problems than any other man ever in Mid-South, a man that just seems to, things just happen. Of course, we saw earlier, Ted DiBiase got his clothes literally defrocked by Bruiser Bob Sweetan, a former Brass Knucks champion. So DiBiase still may have that focal point on his mind, but this is an important match because the winner, without a doubt, would be the #1 contender to face Al Perez and Wildcat Wendell Cooley. And of course, next week, we are trying to have something we've never before ever had on Mid-South TV. He's almost pinned DiBiase. A pole match. That's with a pole. A showdown situation involving the Fantastic and Dutch Mantell whip up on top of that pole. Jake the Snake will meet the undefeated martial art expert, El Casario, and look at Tommy and Bobby strut around, which Bill Dundee, if he's watching the monitor, is just seething because the whole issue started with Dundee and them over the fact that Dundee said he was the only one that had the right to do that cocky little strut. And of course, Eddie Gilbert last week surprised everybody in coming back and presenting to Dundee the pink suit that the midget had won and said he took care of that midget. Now, we've been trying to find out what happened to that midget. It's a very clouded situation. I called their booking office in St. Joe, Missouri, and they said that he was in the hospital, but they didn't want to divulge what happened. They said it was a heinous act, and I can only hope that Eddie Gilbert wasn't really and truly at the bottom of it, that maybe it was Dundee that just put him up to that. But anyway, Eddie Gilbert certainly had a mutual admiration society for superstar Bill Dundee. Clothesline. Dr. Death and DiBiase. Bigger, stronger, well-oiled, well-experienced in tremendous competitions with a lot of pressure. You see Dr. Death, that quick football drill, that's the man who's pulled down from 305 pounds to 262. Tremendous condition, tremendous endurance. Bobby Fulton exhorting Tommy Rogers to get up. Rogers all heart. You've got to be so quick. You got to remember, though, these guys, Rogers and Fulton, the Fantastic, are tag team specialists. Seldom ever in a single match. The crowd solidly behind them, chanting, "Go, Tommy, go. Go, Tommy, go." These young kids just got their hearts are right out on the line at every moment. DiBiase arm whip, reverse elbow. Ted DiBiase, a man very upset. He'd left for Japan some 5-6 weeks ago as one half of the Mid-South Tag Champion. Sleeper. DiBiase's got Tommy Rogers in the sleeper. Tommy quickly, tremendous maneuver, dove between the 2 turnbuckles. Whiplash for Ted DiBiase. Tommy trying to get to his partner to tag him. DiBiase coming to cut him off. A shot into the solar plexus, used a tight split to the corner, and tags Dr. Death. Dr. Death quickly in the ring. Clothesline. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 minutes of television time remaining. We're going to stay with this match as long as we possibly can. Dr. Death quickly. Tommy Rogers so quick. He's moving in and under him. Some of the toughest matches for a heavyweight to wrestle. Oh, good golly. Tommy Rogers just flung himself right over the top of Dr. Death. Dr. Death. Backbreaker. Tommy's hurt. Tommy's hurt. Could have damage to his kidneys. Doc come. Oh, my goodness. Tommy Rogers got out of the way. And Doc ate canvas. Dr. Death, a man that takes a lot of risks. Doesn't feel he can hurt him. Tommy tags Bobby Fulton. Bobby Fulton into the ring. Bobby nails Ted DiBiase. They're both in there, but Bobby Fulton has pulled DiBiase into the ring. Tommy Rogers back to help his partner. It's a 4-way brawl right now. Less than 2 minutes of television time remaining. The Fantastics are turning the tide. What heart, what courage. Double drop kick. that adds their weight together, and they impact this combined weight of both of them. DiBiase's going, he's loading that glove.
He is loading it up, Bill.
Dr. Death, as the referee puts Tommy Rogers out, Dr. Death went up. Oh, my golly, Bobby Fulton, I don't know how he survived it. Bobby Fulton beat Doc up. He's got Doc pinned. Tommy Rogers coming. DiBiase strikes, and he's back out. Referee was out of position. He was down to count the fall. Dr. Death has the fall. Boy, what action, what action. This thing, without a doubt, you see why Ted DiBiase, a man to be feared. Ted DiBiase's back. It's a fantastic, a valiant effort. Boyd, we only have a short time remaining. You know what we have coming next week. Jake the Snake against the undefeated martial arts expert El Casario. But right now, let's see what else Jake the Snake has that he has to face, has to figure out. He and Hacksaw Duggan, Butch Reed, anybody else that gets there, as we watch Joel's video with Humongous in War Machine.